actually use this, set up this APU correctly, it produces fantastic results because the CPU on it is stupid powerful. It's a really powerful CPU for once, and it has decent graphics, right? So you can tune your games for that. And I was able to tune all of my favorite games for 4K with the FPS that would work and play for it. Are they going to be all the graphics, all the features turned on? No, but they were very playable. So I had fun trying to find what those were. So all the Blizzard games, Civilization ran great on it. I ran Call of Duty Modern Warfare, not Modern Warfare, what is the game that everyone's playing now? Warzone? Because my friends play Warzone. It can run Warzone. So anyways, I was really impressed. But the big thing is, it's a really powerful CPU for doing your homework, right? Doing all my CAD applications, doing video editing, doing all that kind of stuff. So that's my little thing with the S4T. I'm going to read some of your questions now that I did an introduction. Scrolling up. Thomas asked, what GPU sec would I recommend for this new case versus the Mini? I'm not going to answer that just yet. I'm going to get into that question. I'm going to look for some other ones, but good question, Thomas. Good to see you, by the way. Is there a European reseller? There's not going to be any resellers quite yet. I am looking for them, but I'm going to be able to distribute at least to Europe. Although Asia and the United States of America will be the first to be able to have top tier distribution, I should say. Europe is a little bit more complicated because I don't have I have a warehouse set up in Germany, but I haven't actually had the minis shipped there yet, and it costs a lot of money to store them in Germany. Some people are answering these questions. SC Crixer asks, can magnetic filters fit inside? It can, but this is all aluminum, 2 millimeters thick, anodized aluminum, so it's non-magnetic, so that really wouldn't do you much good. However, if you check out my Discord and talk and ask some questions about filtering and what I think about them, this case is not designed to inhale and eject air constantly like a normal computer case is, where filters make a little bit more sense. You're just using the fans on your CPU cooler or your GPU cooler for the expanded option, so you're not sucking in air constantly. You're actually moving air around that's inside the case. And in fact, the Mini versus like my other systems, which are enclosed and have filters, sucks in less dust, far less dust, and because dust can't escape easily, it doesn't build up near as much. That's not something I wanted to like brag on and make claims, because people will just say that I'm making it up. But after 6 years doing this, I'm confident in making that claim. What's the volume in the front where the power supply sits? Well, this particular build has an HTPlex 400 AC in the front, and then a 200 watt DC unit. So that's about the maximum volume you have in the front. There are lots of different power supply configuration setups. I'm hoping JHack will pop. Oh, JHack did pop in. His product will fit in there, along with a couple different Meanwhile power supplies. Trying to get him to send me some 3D models of those Meanwhile power supplies so I don't have to do the work. But I'm going to be releasing a video showing all the different configurations so you guys can visualize it a lot better. So don't worry about that. That's coming. So any general questions that you have, I'm happy to answer. Eric popped in as well. He's talking about the cooler height. Eric, of course, has helped me get this thing launched. I'd probably be another 6 months behind if it wasn't for him, but he helped me translate all this stuff into 3D a lot better than it already was. And he came up with a couple weird, cool configurations, which we'll be showing off in that video that's upcoming. I guess I don't have to talk, because he's going to answer the questions, which is perfect. You should be a mod, so I'll just make him a mod if he's not already. All right, cool. So now he is a moderator. Someone's asked me if I use a Mac. Yeah, I use a Mac for my streaming PC right now, because my PC doesn't work with OBS and this camera and this capture card really well. It has this weird frame rate issue. And I have a Mac for Final Cut Pro. It's what I edit my videos in. So it just seems to do a better job streaming. So that's what I'm using this for. Plus it makes it a lot handier to have a wireless little majigger. Cuban asks where I could buy one. You can buy one on my website, but like I said, it's going to be launching hopefully the first week of May, but very, very soon. All right. Don't really have a lot more on that, but I'm happy to keep answering questions. T. Rui says, will it have HD Plex installation holes out of the box? Yes, it has this little bracket. They call it a multi-bracket. However, I kind of wanted to name it something with sky in it, so I might change the name at the last minute here. But this is a very complicated little part. It has so many different holes, different countersinks, spacing options. It can be installed forward, backward, flipped. It can be installed in multiple different positions inside the chassis, so you can mount all sorts of different power supply configurations to this little bracket. But yeah, everything rigidly mounts in the S4T. Crashover asks a really good question. Why do you use that specific power cable that you do along with connectors that you do? This is just the GX16 cable power connector. I like them. I think they look really nice. They take up they don't take up a lot of space. There's no real reason to use one other than in custom mods, it takes up very little space and it's a very high amperage connector. So that's kind of why I use this cable. The reason I think it's an important question is stock, when you buy the case for right now anyway, I'm trying out with this bracket with two cutouts, a 16mm cutout and a 12. The 12, of course, is compatible with a lot of different power supply DC jack inlets, such as HD Plex and some Pico units. And the 16mm jack you can use for a GX16 AC cable like this, or an on-off switch in case you want to put in the back. But the product will have sorry, back up. I'm going to release full CAD for this product, so you'll be able to make your own backplate I/O. You can send off the 2D to send, cut, send, and you can make it however you want. I'm also going to be making a lot of them myself, and so you can download them. Because the cool thing about the S4T, or one of the many cool things about it, is you can put in different motherboard form factors. So you can have STX, the STX-M, the GPU built-in STX boards, of course Mini ITX. So with Raspberry Pi, you can have all sorts of little different boards because there's different standoff configurations you can set up. So you'll want to be able to make your own clean I/O plate. So that's why this is 2D. It pops right in, it's exchangeable, and it's set up in such a way that's really clever to where you can actually mount those things and have it not interfere with the panels. One Sky I/O will be included. Of course, this is the base one that is. I don't know if long-term this will be the one that I include. I might include one with a C6 cutout, sorry, on this side, instead of these two cutouts. I just kind of quickly decided what's the model that everyone's going to want to order the most of. So, Eric, if you want to answer the questions I'm not handling, that'd be really helpful. Appreciate that. This is a Sky I/O bracket that's for a GPU. So when you're stacking multiple units on top of each other, because this transforms S4T tiny, and it also transforms into a bigger case, you can put different panels and stuff on it. You'll want to be able to put a GPU in, so it'll be kind of like a little bit larger S4 Mini. So I will be selling the GPU brackets, and as you can see here too, they'll flip over. So if you want to have your GPU facing up, a lot of people request that. I've covered dozens of videos at this point, not dozens. I've made about a dozen videos covering why the GPU sits like it does in the S4M, but not everybody has access to it or watches those, so I gave up. So you'll be able to flip your GPU however you want it, even if it's not the right way. So, yeah, you're on it too much, Eric. I could just sit back and watch you. Some people ask, can you put another card in it? We've looked at that. Eric's tried to fit a couple cards in there. There is enough space technically if you got a low profile cooler. If you used like a thin mini ITX board, you could use a single slot card. It will fit in here over a 1U thin mini board. So you could have a graphics card, discrete graphics card, and a CPU. Like if you wanted to use a Fire GL card, not a Fire GL card, Radeon Pro card, or a Quadro card. But there isn't really a way to actually physically mount it to the back. There wouldn't be enough space. So you might have to, we're gonna make a bracket later probably that will hold the card like in the middle of the case, and then you'd have to kind of like plug in the cable into it. Kind of be sloppy, but I just want to point out that it's something that can be done. There is enough space there. Still kind of a little bit forward in, but I'm gonna release this a little bit early just so I can cue you guys up. Roguecast, again, the sponsor for this stream, is giving you guys a discount. It's Rogue Stream right here, discount code Rogue Stream, if you buy stuff on their website during this stream. But what's really special is they sent me a graphics card, which I'm going to open up, and this graphics card is going to be available for you guys to purchase on the website. So you don't have to worry about bots. They have a bunch in stock. They're going to go really quickly, but only you guys can purchase them right now. And I guess it is the 6700 XT Pulse, which I'm actually interested in looking at because I want to see how long this sucker is. But that's going to open up in 5 minutes. So if you want to open up roguecast.com and head over there and go to the GPUs and hit refresh, if you need a 6700 XT, you'll be able to get one. And you'll pay retail price instead of $350 more. But I did put up GPU buying strategies in the stream title. So what's that about? Well, one, Roguecast, they are a sponsor, but hang in there. They're a sponsor because I wanted to work with them after buying from them. A couple of my friends work there. I like what they're doing. And I buy parts there. I literally pay money and buy parts there. Now, what was my point here? Yeah, Roguecast. Roguecast actually is a good place to buy GPUs because it's so new. Whenever I go online, people are like, is Roguecast like legit? I don't think people like buy from them because they're so new. They don't know if they're fake or not. So I'm actually able to get graphics cards. It's like limit one per household. But sometimes I PM my customers on Discord who are looking for a card that I know they are. So that's another benefit of being on Discord. And I let them know that there's going to be a card there. So Roguecast is one of my strategies. But there's also two other strategies I have. It's not eBay. Although I will say this, eBay is an amazing place to buy 4000 series APUs, like this 4750G. You can get a 4750G all day long at eBay, no problem, and they're not really marked up. I just bought mine from Korea, so got it in pretty quick. So if you want an APU like a 4750G, check out eBay if you're in the US. If you're not in the US, then they're really easy to get a hold of because lots of different online sites sell them. So boo for us in the US, but eBay's a great place for that. One of my other strategies has been, two of my other strategies, Reddit and Discord. Like, it's been really great to buy GPUs on Reddit and through my Discord channel. And I've survived 2020 by being able to do that. I want to give a shout out to people that have sold me GPUs in my Discord, so I really appreciate that. And also other PC groups. But that's where you want to go. You don't want to go to eBay. If you're afraid of being scammed, it's not like you not get scammed on eBay. I'm scammed on eBay all the time anyway. And you end up paying like good prices for the cards. A couple of the cards I've gotten have been outstandingly priced. And I've only had one transaction where I haven't gotten my card and it's been like 3 months. But overall, I'm pretty happy. So that's one of them. And the Reddit is another great place to buy graphics cards. So check out Roguecast. Check out my Discord. I always post to my Patreon when Roguecast is going to dump new cards. And right now, during this stream, you can get a 6700 XT. And you can get it with a discount at Rogue Stream. So, I'll put that on my little board. Where's my little marker? 2 more minutes. I have to get every color. I'm not going to look at just blue like some pleb. We're a 2-color marker kind of setup here, boys and girls. Do you like my overlays I set up for my Discord stream? Very professional. Oh, it's hot. Hot. What's the maximum wattage I recommend? All the watts. I don't, you gotta give me some context there. So, yeah. Eric's on asking questions, so I don't have to feel bad about missing some of them. And I'm gonna do that third part of the stream. Icky asks, I know water cooling is overrated, but is it possible with an external power supply? Like inside of the case? Yeah, I played with that. I'm sure Eric has too. There's a bunch of different little radiators. I'm so blanking, guys. I have that migraine. I'm really sorry. What are these things called? Alpha Cool. I wanted to get the brand right, but Alpha Cool has tons of different little radiators that will fit in the front there. Especially if you get like an STX board. You get an STX board and you throw in like a 4750G, you can liquid cool it. And is it going to be better than an air cooler? No. But will it be neat? Yes. And that is why you guys buy high-end cases like this, for fun things. Yeah, all right. So the next stage of this lovely process, I'm gonna open some fat loot. Oh. I asked them to send me an NR200 because I wanted to look at it. This seems like the first case based on a boutique case that I actually liked the looks of on paper. I don't mean actually like the looks of. I'm gonna reserve my judgment until I open it up. But as far as its layout and brackets and features, and I also decided that I think it'd be fun to give this case away to you guys. You guys have trouble making Roguecast accounts? That's a bummer. It's a big bummer. I should have just opened this on the floor. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, I'm going to open this so people can see me unbox it. But it's just silly. It's going to hit the microphone. Much easier. Shut up, Eric. Boxes are my nemesis. I'll text Roguecast and tell them that it's broken. Cue up the fix it, fix it, fix it, Fry Futurama gift. All right. I have to say this, I actually like the look of this case. Now, I have a rule here. I do not ever, ever, ever disc people's products because I have a business and I think that's super tacky. But it doesn't mean I can't say nice things about another person's product or not say things that I don't like about a person's product. But like I said, I actually was interested in this computer case, so that's why I had Roguecast send me one, and I thought I would do a giveaway. I am going to give away a bunch of cases. I've decided. I don't know how to do it yet, so if you guys can think of a fun way of doing it to where I can choose a winner or something, let me know, because I have a ton of mini ITX cases to give away. A lot of them. All right, so I'm going to go over this. I actually love the look of this computer case. One of the things that really bugs me, they might have committed one of the sins. Yes, they did commit one of my Josh's don't do and resign a case sins, is when you have different style cutouts on your case. You need to keep it uniform throughout the whole thing, otherwise it just doesn't look good in my opinion. And they use hexagon cutouts underneath the mesh on the top, but circular cutouts on the side. Cooler Master, I think your case would look a lot better if you kept it universal all throughout. I think hexagon on the side would look amazing, although hexagon also can move more air as well. So, I mean, there's a benefit to that. But that's the only thing I have to say about the looks. I actually like the proportions quite a bit. I like the rounded cover. The paint job is actually kind of nice. To be honest, for a case in this price point, it's kind of nice. I really do dig it. It's a satin case finish. And the logo, too. I do like the logo. I don't like logos on cases, which is why I don't have a logo on my case. But they took out the Cooler Master. Just have a little line there. I bet you that lights up in the front. I've never looked at this case before, so I really don't know for sure. Hexagon is bestagon. All right, Eric, I have a contest idea. So you're gonna have to record who answers it first. I will give away a computer case to anybody in the United States. I'll pay for shipping. I will go halvesies with you if you're not in the United States on shipping. But the first case I'll give away to the person that can tell me the approximate color of my Jeep first in the chat. And then please arrange with the winner to get their address somehow. Thank you, sir. Oh, and on the bottom, look here on the bottom, we have slots. So slots are actually important on the bottom. I know that they put these on here probably because it lines up with fans, and so you can adjust the fans. But again, I don't like it when you mix circles, hexagons, and slots. You guys are just guessing. Rust was, I also would accept rust. All right, I'm gonna cut off. All right, I've already seen people guess the right color, so no more guessing. It's over. It's over. No more guessing. It's over. And I'll let Eric find out who guessed it correctly. And whoever guessed it correctly, I guess, Eric, work that out. Call it out in the chat, and then you email me or Eric. I don't know. Eric, take care of it. Take care of it for me, man. All right, enough talking about holding this thing. I do like it. I do like the little racing stripe on the top. I like the gray. It looks really nice. So let's get into it and see if this is a good case to build in. And let's build a computer in it. I promise you, I have not looked at this computer case in reviews or anything like that. I just looked at Cooler Master's like website. So I don't even know how to open it up or take the panels off. Does it pop out? Pops out. Uses the peg style connectors like Lian Li does. It has magnetic mesh, so there's steel panels. They're quite light though. They feel really well made. This is actually a really nice product, gotta say. We have more slots and circles on the inside. We have a little bracket, I guess, for mounting fans, radiators. That's gonna have to go. You know, someone said tactical Noctua. That's actually very funny because I didn't realize it till just now, but it's the exact colors of Noctua. Exactly. It's the exact tan on the outside. And on the inside, the doors, the seats, the sun visors, the steering wheel are a color called nutmeg, which drove me crazy. My friend gave me 2 sets of old doors, nutmeg doors that were in perfect condition, off his Scrambler because he wanted to do a different color. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll just buy everything else to match. Well, nutmeg ended up being an extremely rare CJ color. Extremely rare. And so it was a 2 or 3 year journey of trying to track down nutmeg everything. Like I found the steering wheel at a dealer, like in Utah, that they had like in this box and it was covered in like this wax for since the 1970s. Ridiculous. So that was awesome, brand new. I've tried to find a nutmeg top. That took me the longest amount of time. Finally found a mom and pop off-road store in California. I would just call up dealers. That's what I do every day. I just call up a couple dealers. And they're like, yeah, we have some. We actually have 3 of them. Like, I'll take all 3. The shades, the visors, the sun visors. I finally found some in a local Jeep junkyard and cleaned them up, got the mildew off of them, and my wife was so nice, she unstitched them and stitched them back over the little waxed cardboard. But yeah, it's funny, they're exact Noctua colors. You're welcome, Nicole. You're welcome. Never underestimate my ability to break something from afar. We got an extra fan. It's one of Cooler Master's cheapy sickle flows. I don't know why they do that. I think they should, like, case manufacturers should make sure to split off. Corsair does this a lot too. Their fan lines, Corsair doesn't do this anymore, I should say. They fix this problem. Because it's like when you buy a motorcycle, you might have some premium looking tires on your motorcycle, but they're actually made for the motorcycle with less rubber, so they burn out quicker and you have to replace them to save costs. And I feel like they do that for the fans too. I'm not going to install this fan. Nice little silicate packet, keep us from rusting. It's actually fairly roomy on the inside. Where does the power supply go? And does it go in this little bracket right here? Let's pop off that panel. I do like the panels. Like I said, they use the poppy-oppy pin plastic connectors, but they come off well. They're not so hard to pull on. When you pull it off, it flies back and breaks everything. It's well made. It's a well-made case. No wonder it's so popular. Okay, so this bracket unscrews, pops off, and it covers the power supply. It shrouds it. Or you can use it for hard drives, looks like. It's kind of interesting. Eric, did you find out who won yet? That's kind of interesting too, like this little cable straps. I bought this from Roguecast with my own money because they were basically giving it away. I forgot how much I paid for this. Anybody else buy this from Roguecast when they had that sale? But it was dirt cheap. I thought it was a Corsair power supply, but it's a Cooler Master power supply, which is fortuitous because I have this Cooler Master case. Well, Icky, as far as power buttons are concerned, that's what's cool. I don't include one. I have a super premium one if people want to go that route, but they can just choose whatever kind of power button they want to put in their mini case. Regular maintenance. Well, congratulations, my man. Now, I have to ask, did you just guess, or did you happen to know from watching past videos? Out of curiosity. Silent mode begins at low loads. Fans will not spin when load is under 15%. Trying to put together a computer with a concussion. This is going to be interesting. But I am almost warm enough to do a little bit more selling out. So there's that. Like I say, did I throw up all the screws already? Well, thanks for your answer, regular maintenance. Don't be too offended. I don't think I could remember my own mother's name right now, so. Speaking of which, kind of silly story, but that's why you're here, right? Yesterday was my parents' wedding anniversary. And I was talking to my neighbors. I have great neighbors, so we talk all the time. We're friends. And she's like, oh, I saw your parents at church the other day. How are they doing? I'm like, oh, they're doing good. Their wedding anniversary is actually tomorrow. She's like, oh, yeah, what wedding anniversary? And my dad had texted me the day before to remind me because, you know, it's bad news to forget your wedding anniversary for your mom especially. And he was doing it for her sake. And he had told me it was their 35th wedding anniversary. So I, you know, told Miss Jackie, oh, yeah, it's their 35th wedding anniversary. She's like, oh, that's so nice. And then she's like, well, you have a birthday coming up. You know, how old are you, by the way? I'm like, I'm 35. And then we just kind of sit there for a second. And she's like, well, that's it. And I was just kind of trying to figure out there for a second because I still had this concussion. I'm trying to figure out, that doesn't really... That... But turns out that it was their 36th wedding anniversary and Dad just typoed it, so yeah, so there's my little story for you guys. Maybe too much information. Well, Rod, let's be honest here. If Noctua was going to sponsor this channel, I would sell out so quickly. I mean, everything would be beige and spice. I mean, you would just not even believe it. I would have Noctua badges all over that Jeep. I'd get a Noctua tattoo on my arm. I mean, they're styling, man. They are styling. Yeah, let's put this back in here now. I actually am trying to put this together now just to see if I can actually assemble a computer right now. That's how bad it is. All right. This is going to hook in at the top via these clever little, yeah, hookies. What am I doing wrong? Oh, the cable's in the way. There we go. It has a mount for SFX power supplies too, and SFXL, I mean, power supplies. This is the SFXL position, and if for some reason we wanted to put it down there, which I'm going to guess is going to be clearance on the top. Yeah, okay, so that just lets you run a bigger fan. This is not a case review, by the way, so don't think it is. It's just me screwing around on camera for you guys' benefit, so you can throw peanuts at me. That's what this is. So if you don't have your peanuts, pause this, go get them and come back. Now, here's a question. Did they make the power supply mounting all 632 because the power supply are standard 632 to screw it in? Or did they make the power supply bracket M3 like the rest of the case? Or does Cooler Master make all its cases 632? It looks from here like it might all be 632. But I think I, in my haste, threw my screws down the floor. So we might never know. It's a little bit tight. It's a little bit tight. All right, where's that box? That's the radiator. The way you type that story, people are going to wonder if it's true. They're not going to know if it's true or just a story. When is the custom water cooling video that you showed in my story? What story? I have so many builds coming up. It's unreal. I have one nightmare build that I've been working on with Eric for months because he hates me. I thought he was my best friend, but he designed an impossible to assemble computer system using the S4T trademark. That one's, we have to finish that first. Then I have another computer case I'm building for a close friend from World of Warcraft, which I am super in love with. It is an awesome case, also water cooled. And that video is mostly done-ish. And then I have another liquid cooled build, which I need to post. But first, the S4T video. The S4T video needs to happen first. Ori says he likes the mini, and that makes my day. I really appreciate that, man. You are awesome. And now that I'm looking at this, P. Bales says, did I get one of the Noctua goodie bags? It has a keychain, notepads, case badges, and a big sticker sheet. I am offended, sir, because I have gotten no such swag bag from Noctua. They have not even responded to my emails asking for a t-shirt. And I asked you guys a couple years ago to send Noctua an email asking them to send me a t-shirt. And if you like this channel, you want to help me sell out, please contact Noctua and tell them to send Josh a Noctua t-shirt. On the side of this tool case, I put all my Noctua badges, and it's almost completely full. I mean, I buy so many Noctua products, and I sell so many Noctua products for Noctua. They should send me a t-shirt. Yes, Friedrich, the good World of Warcraft I will put in. But Alvin says, do we have an official conversion number for liters and S4Ts yet? That's a great question, but I think the real answer is you don't need liters anymore. You just need S4Ts. Like, how many S4Ts is this Cooler Master C200 case? Well, I would say about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we won't count the edges sticking out to fill up the top. So this case is 5 S4Ts. Standard unit of measurement. Hey, somebody even knows my my name, sort of. It's Man Bear Cat, but you know, Man Bear Pig is also funny. John Astley says, I'd say about 4.3. Okay, you might be right there. You might be right there. It's possible. It's possible. But they do have this tab here. S4T is tabless, baby. And these feet, so, you know. Yeah, I want Noctua. I would love for Noctua to do a sponsored build. They wouldn't even have to do anything, really. They just have to send, like, goodie bags and a t-shirt. And I'd, like, make the case Noctua colored. It'd be awesome. Shrek asks, where do I typically buy computer hardware down here other than normal places like Best Buy? Do you just order online? Where I live in southern Mississippi, so I don't have things like Micro Center or Fry's, rest in peace, or a local cool computer shop. I can buy my parts like Altex. So I have to buy online. And I'm not going to lie, I buy most of my stuff from B&H and Amazon because I get the tax forms all filled out there for my business. And because I get cash back on my credit card there. But whenever I can, I like to buy stuff on Roguecast for two reasons. One, I can usually get them at MSRP. Now, MSRP, I guess, doesn't exist anymore in 2020, right? That's the manufacturer stated price. But I can actually buy them for close to MSRP. And they have really good deals because they're trying to promote their brand. So they have these fire sales all the time. So, like, the hardware I'm actually using for this build today, I all bought from Roguecast. All right, we're gonna put the mini ITX motherboard in here, and I really want to know. I don't see a single M3 screw. So Cooler Master, is that what this company is called? It's got to be Cooler Master. Yeah, it's Cooler Master. Uses Merkin screws. Oh, that's cool. He lives in Gulfport. It's crazy. Monish, I have not been watching or reading anything this week. It's been pretty rough on my head. But I did see the thumbnail for Linus's videos. I got to catch up on his stuff. So the only thing I saw, I usually watch the Apple event. Didn't watch the Apple event. Wasn't feeling well enough for it. But I heard they released the new iMac. I saw a picture of it. I thought it looked really cool. Kind of a throwback to my old Lime iMac from back in the day. So kind of nostalgic. I don't know anything about the specs. All I saw is that it had like a magnetic power port, which I was like, yes, MagSafe is back, baby. All right, for motherboard, I also bought this at Roguecast for a ridiculously low price. They had this sale that they sent out for email last week. I don't know. Somebody from Roguecast could chime in and let us know about that. But this is actually the motherboard that I buy for my builds. So the ASRock BPI50 Phantom ITX board, this is what I've been buying. So to have that be, that's the one thing I don't like about Roguecast, is that they're so new, they don't really have a selection of the hardware that I normally buy. But this is the board. I'm not really into the X series boards for AMD. I usually buy higher end boards for Intel, but for AMD, I mean, what's the point? If it has the I/O that you want, then sure, absolutely go for it. But this board has the I/O that I want for most of my customers. It has a built-in backplate. I'm going to segue into the S4T again. So the S4T has that swappable Sky I/O backplate, right? And it works 100% with these built-in backplate motherboards. I've tested it on several models. Works fantastic. But this is kind of a weird thing about the S4T. To make it compatible with this mini ITX board, with STX, with all the different little motherboards, and the spacing that it is, and the interchangeable plates, you can't actually pop the I/O plate into the bracket. it sits between the motherboard and the bracket very securely, very snugly, still makes grounding contact. You can see it's still flush with all the ports. It just doesn't snap in there. There's like maybe a millimeter, if that. It's probably 0.75 millimeters keeping it from snapping in. So I just wanted to point that out because I know a lot of you guys are going to be the first to order an S14 and you're going to kind of probably wonder what that's all about. But that is, that's that. All right, I'm going to throw this in here first. Normally, I would install this on a test bench, put the CPU in it, and do all that. But I'm just assembling this in the case. I'm not actually going to install the system today. So the cutout's perfect on it. I'm actually going to pop it out because another thing I like to check for on cases is how easily I/O shields pop in. This one is an I/O shield with the foam and the ESD foil tape on it. I like to get an idea if it's a loose or tight case. Because this is a powder coated case, and it's a, or if it's not powder coated, it's a very thick industrial paint. Goes in pretty well. A little bit of paint chipping, which I would expect. It's so thick. Come on, that last corner is giving me a little bit of trouble though. Come on, baby. I'm not going to fight that, but it is a little bit tight in that back corner. But luckily I don't have to worry about that for my build. .632 screws. Oh, that's cool. They use the standoffs that have the offset tip so the board can snap onto it before screwing it in. That's nice. That's a nice little feature. I'm actually going to use these screws that don't have the serrated grippy edges because I don't like to tear the motherboard up. Quick tip in case you don't know, magnetize your screwdriver by rubbing it against a magnet. I'm sure everybody knows that, but you never know. But you can make any screwdriver a magnetic tip screwdriver. I think I paid less than $130 for it, to be honest. But yeah, it was a pretty good deal. I remember I was shocked how inexpensive it was. The power supply though, that was like a freebie. It was almost like buy the motherboard, get the power supply free. Okay, so something to point out. You need a really long screwdriver in order to hit the screw, the back screw. Or you need a really short screwdriver to go underneath that flange. There's no cutout in the flange. Could they have done a cutout? Maybe. Yeah, I think so. It's a little close to this stamped recess for their sky bracket. They've made this cable for the power supply, I think, longer than it needs to be. I know that they wanted to have it so it could reach the front and the back, but if you can reach the front, then you can reach the back. Maybe they did it so you could flip the cable, because power supply, where they orient the IC13 connector, is not standard. It's not so bad. It's not so long that you can't hide it up underneath here, but I do think it's a little bit long. The other cables, I think, are kind of reasonable. Again, they wanted to make it so it could reach anywhere on the board. So if you had a connector, USB 3 connector, all the way in the back corner, you could stick it there. But have you seen a USB 3.0 connector on the very back corner of the motherboard? I haven't. USB 3, yes. I've even seen front panel there, but I haven't seen USB 3 there. But it's not bad, because if it's a little bit longer, it just means you can route it tighter around things. And I'm not been out of shape about that at all. The audio one, ironically, the audio one could be longer, because that usually is in that back corner. And in order for me to use this, I would have to basically just drape it over my other parts, and that's ugly. I would want a really long audio cable so I could go around the top, or I could go along the bottom. And what I'm going to have to do to compromise is probably go under the motherboard and pop out. I think that would work. I'm not actually going to install that. Tuck it away for later. And ooh, this is kind of nice. This is that's kind of nice indeed. Wow. Clever, Cooler Master. I've not seen this before. I've seen little headers you can plug your front panel headers onto. Boop. From Asus, you could plug into your board quickly. But they've made this clip, and they've already arranged the little front panel headers into a nice little block that are in the appropriate spaces for motherboards these days. That's pretty clever. So I have to find out where my front panel header is, which is right here. Oh, by the way, on this board, that's the one thing about it. You have to be very careful with the ASRock B550 Gaming ITX motherboard, because they have a USB 3 connector and a front panel I/O connector right on top of each other, and they're both pretty much the same color. They're both a shade of black. So you don't know which one it is unless you look at the manual. And even if you look at the manual, you look down, you might get it upside down and confused, and then you could end up burning your front panel light out. So just as something to know. I just happen to know it happens to be the top. But that's nice. I like that. Well, that's a good little invention. Someone says, watch out if angled SATA ports in some ASRock B550s mistakes were made. Yeah, they use angled ports, which sometimes I like, but more and more of these cases are putting the power supply right next to the board. They're not giving you a lot of room there. In fact, that's not enough room for a lot of SATA cables that included with your motherboard. You would have to use a right angle cable, and you better pray that's going to be right angle in the right direction, which is not going to be, because they're all going to be facing down. I can't even see them from this angle, but yeah, that's something else interesting to point out. Luckily, what's SATA, right? Please don't use SATA. Please stick with NVMe drives. RoboTanV says, my motherboard in the last 3 builds has also been the ASRock Phantom Gaming ITX B450. And yeah, it's a great board. I recently started using the B550, but to be honest, I did a build the other day with the B450 because I couldn't find a B550 for a good price for a customer. And you know, what's the difference? People are going to say, oh, I know the difference, and they're going to tell me why I'm wrong. That's fine, but for a lot of the customers I'm doing, it's not a lot of difference. Thanks, Ori. I really appreciate it. Yeah, that's a good question. What's the cooler height on this guy? First of all, just straight up, it's going to be difficult to fit a giant tower cooler with this pre-installed fan, but without the pre-installed fan, we're looking pretty good for big giant tower coolers. Let's look at the cooler height. Again, this isn't a review. You could go find this information a lot easier another way, but just for my curiosity's sake, 156 millimeters from the bottom of the socket to the top of the case panel. And then you have at least 25 millimeters to the top, which is great. And then you'd have at least 25 millimeters to the back panel. And as long as you get over your RAM, you're pretty much good to go up towards the front. So this does support great coolers. And another thing it does is that bracket, right? So if you want to install some liquid cooling, you could put an all-in-one there. Though you wouldn't do that, right? You guys would buy a good cooler, like from Noctua. All right, I'm gonna put the graphics card in here. Before I put this 6700 XT Pulse Edition, guys, can you buy them yet from Roguecast? Because they have them available just for you guys on the stream. If you wanted to buy one, if you can actually create an account, and you can get a discount on it by using the promo code RogueStream. But before I stick this in here, we want to know how many S4Ts will go in the GPU bay. And the answer is about one S4T, maybe even a little bit more, because we have a lot of S4T space in the front, potential S4T space, a lot of it. I know nobody wants to know this, but how many 3090s will fit in it? Yet another ridiculously tight fit. However, Cooler Master did their homework. Does the front panel come off, guys? Yeah, it does. Cool. There's a cutout, a giant cutout in the front, kind of like an Skyreach 4 Mini or something. And this will stick through there. Great job, Cooler Master. Oops, my little pad that I put on there and designed just for a specific applications popped off. And you can easily get this in there. No wrangling. That was super easy. And this is an intensely big card. So good job, Cooler Master. Has a nice air gap on the bottom for pulling air up into your toasty GPU. So this actually is much simpler to install and build in than the TU150, which was my previous favorite massive ITX case. But I think this would be my choice. The Lian Li is kind of more to my styling. The brackets inside, the how they stamp the metal, or actually Lian Li fold a lot of the metal in their case. It's cleaner. It looks nicer. It's more empty. It feels more feng shui in the inside. Like you do your own thing inside the Lian Li, whereas this is a lot more hectic, but it's super functional. It's fine. I think a lot of people don't care that there's slots, hexagons, and different size circles everywhere. That bothers me, but I don't think people care about that. And it's just really well laid out. They also have a slot in the back. You'd pop that out, and then you could put your GPU over your motherboard if you wanted to, because people like to do that to show off their graphics card. So yeah. Also, I know another case that is going to do that. And the liquid cooling on the top, I want to talk about that because there's a case that I reviewed because they asked me to a while back where you couldn't really install a liquid cooler on the top where they claimed you could install a liquid cooler because there wasn't a way to actually fit it in here. But you could actually fit a 240 all-in-one on the top here. You'd have to remove, of course, this aluminum fan, possibly. The power cable would be a little tight on this side. That's my only concern. If you wanted to line it up right over these fans. But I don't think I would do that. I don't think I would put it on top. I really think that I would mount the all-in-one over the motherboard, having it blown down your RAM. And if you could, afterwards, exhaust up with some other fans in the top if you want to put more fans in there. Oh yeah, the T150, what are they going for, like $50? Yeah, on Roguecast. $50! Along with that motherboard and that power supply. It's like $100 off retail, or is that $50 off retail? Anyway, still, $50 for the T150, that is a steal. So, I gotta say, overall, very happy. The feet, too, I kind of like the feet. I know that they offer, like, 3D files. You can print your own feet. They have different styles and stuff. That's kind of a nice little thing. Again, what other company I know does that. But they actually feel nice. They're plastic, but they feel nice. And the rubber on them at the bottom actually doesn't feel like it peel off the first time you put it on your desk. So good job. I would pay money for this computer case. Of course, I wouldn't, because I would make my own computer case. NFC 05L, videos coming soon, or I would use an S4T. But if I need to build something quickly for somebody from my church or a business or a friend or something, and I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a boutique PC, this is actually would be my next go-to case for that. I think it beats out the T150. I love the handle on the top of T150. Realistically, though, very few people are going to make use of that handle. And I don't think that's really apples to apples, because the handle is a very important aspect of the TU150, right? They sacrifice so much to put that in there, and it's a huge feature. I bought a bunch of those for live streaming people that didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a S4M system, because it has a handle on top. So really, really handy. But if you don't need a handle, this is what I would do. There's a rush of traffic. So do you owe me a taco, Nicole? Nicole said that no one was going to watch this stream, and I wasn't going to send anybody to their website. She said, don't sponsor this joker. It's the biggest mistake you'll make. So ha, Nicole. In your face. No, I'm just kidding. Nicole is my bro. Put these screws somewhere where they don't get lost. Okay, so here's the question. I'm going to give that person that one who I've already forgotten, I'm sorry, please cut me some slack, the choice between the Cooler Master and the TU150. It's the black with the tempered side glass panel on it. Your choice. You can pick. In fact, I have some other cases. So when Eric sends me your email, I'll get in touch with you, and you can choose between a bunch of different mini ITX computer cases. So there. Thank you for winning the contest, and for actually watching my stream, my videos, so you actually knew what my Jeep was. Thank you, man. Something else kind of nice. Cooler Master included the poor man Lee & Lee's standoff tool. When you buy a Lee & Lee case, at least back in the day, you used to get this awesome standoff wrench. This is from way back in the day. I had a bunch of them, but you know, I didn't really need a bunch of them, so I think I tossed a bunch of them. But Cooler Master gives you the little adapter with the Phillips drive socket. They give you a little teeny little socket, which I think is kind of cute, and it's appreciated. Not as luxe as this, but then again, it probably doesn't cost what Lee & Lee costs, so, or used to cost. Ooh, Mr. Rose asks, what do I think about the ASRock A320M ITX, the possible cheaper mini ITX AM4 motherboard? I just did a build with it. I thought it was a fine board. So, there you go. Nothing really fancy to say about it. But for RAM, I have been buying for AMD the Corsair Vengeance series for Ryzen. This is, I'm going to read off the label real quick, even though no one's going to remember this. The CM, I can't read this. I can't read this number. But it's, what is this? Yeah, it's just the Corsair Vengeance. It's Corsair Vengeance RGB for Ryzen. And I switched to this because Ryzen, I'm going to say it, you guys can correct me, but I have trouble getting motherboards to work with faster memory. AMD motherboards. And I've had better luck with these modules plug and play than I have with the other modules I've been using in the past. So this is what I use when I'm buying AMD boards now. I was able to get 3600 megahertz with this kit. Now, Unfortunately, with this last kit, I had to bump the voltage up to 1.357, which is a little bit high. It's rated for 3600 at 1.35. I could probably still do some tuning, but running great. So not really I need to worry about that too much. But if I was going to put it back in a S4T, I'd probably want to tighten those voltages up a little tiny bit. All right, I'm going to talk about this card real quick. I'll do a rundown of what I think about the cooler, and then I guess we'll talk about the S4T before we end the stream. Wow, it's been 2 hours. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. Sapphire PCB. Sapphire makes my favorite AMD boards. The color, I'm a huge fan of the Nitro series from Sapphire as far as how they look. I think they look fantastic. The Pulse, I've not been a fan of. I'm not a fan of how it looks. However, this model is worlds better. It's all black. It's all the same color black, and they only have red. They've ditched the white, except for the logo where it says Pulse on the back. And I love white as a color, and red, white, and black works. It didn't look quite right to me the last couple graphic cards from this, but this looks a lot better, I have to say. As far as the shroud goes, it's a well-designed shroud. This shroud is actually functional. It's not just there for garbage looks like they put in a lot of budget cards. It goes all the way down to the heatsink, and then the fans are also shrouded. They have their own shroud on the edges. Are they removable with the Sapphire PCB? Let's find out. Doesn't look like they are. I mean, they're removable for sure, but are they the PCB variant like on the Nitro? No, they're definitely not. They're just attached to a cord, which is going to run down probably to a splitter to the board. Nitro cards use a PCB. So you unscrew the fan, pops out. Super quick to replace. Really, really nice. I really like that feature. And they also sell like RGB fan kits for them, which also look really cool. I have a Sapphire build video of a custom build I did. I think they're releasing it in May. I can't see what I'm doing right now. I can't see high contrast stuff, so I don't think this is going in. Oh, it did. John says something really important. For RAM and Ryzen, you want to try and be at 3600 megahertz, as that will give you one-to-one with the Infinity Fabric. So true. Another thing to point out as well, you need the fastest RAM possible for APUs. How much? In my real-world tests that I did, my real-world testing, I got a 30 at the minimum bump in performance with the RAM at 3600 megahertz, as opposed to the stock it was at, which is something really, really, really low. Not even 2400 megahertz. But just bumping the RAM up, I got that big of an improvement on an APU. When I'm on the Intel side of things, I mean, you could use Cracker Jack stickers for RAM in an Intel system, but it does matter big time if you're using an APU. So make sure that if you are buying this beautiful 4750G, which I absolutely love, hopefully I'll get a video out soon when I start feeling better. Get really fast RAM. Really, really fast RAM. Yeah, I like how this looks. The cooler, it doesn't use a full solid copper base plate like I've seen some of the other Sapphire GPUs. It has looks like an aluminum nickel coated plate. It could be copper possibly, and then nickel coated, and then that's welded to a copper plate, which is going to go through to the heat pipes directly. But it's not super beefy. However, it does have 3, is it 6mm or are they 5mm? 5mm heat pipes. All the RAM is covered, which is good coverage. All the heat generating components are covered, so that's good on it. they're using their kind of base model heatsink with the fins going all the same direction. They're saving the cool little crazy air deflecting, air silencing design for the nitro. I think that Roguecast want me to install this in the computer and test it out on the stream, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to actually test it out and then do an actual video on it for Roguecast, because I think that's more fair. Because I can barely talk as it is. That wouldn't be nice to a graphics card just throwing it out there. Uses an 8 and a 6-pin connector. Be nice to see just a single 6-pin. But although I would really like to know, and I'll put that in review, if it can be powered via just the 8-pin. And if the 6-pin is like an extra, if you want to give it more juice, that'd be nice. Man, I'm tired and I'm kind of worn out. So I appreciate you guys joining the stream from Roguecast. I appreciate you guys very, very much. I don't know when this ended. We've been here 2 hours. Hopefully they extended the